Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Tuck and Tell. Tuck and Tell is a solo video version of My Girl Life podcast. Today, I wanted to talk about gender envy. Gender envy is a term I was not familiar with until just recently, and I think it answered a lot of questions I have, and I've had them for years. As do a lot of you, I'm sure. I've tried to understand my cross-dressing for years now and spend quite a bit of time analyzing it, not in an obsessive way, but in a curious way. And I finally landed on a term called autogynephilia. For those of you that are not familiar with that term, and I understand there are a few variations in the terms of definitions, the one I identified with was embodying the object of your desire. See, I've always dressed like the girl I want to be with, which I think fits squarely within that definition. Now, I'm very much aware that this is a controversial theory, and I do not agree with the other parts of this theory, namely that transgender is not a real thing. I 100% believe that transgender is a real thing. However, part of that theory really hit home for me, the embodying the object of your desire part. I recently discovered the term gender envy, and a huge light bulb went on for me. It described the phenomena of me seeing a woman who I'm attracted to and would love to be with. However, there's a big part of me that wants to be her. But this still doesn't fully explain why I would want to be her rather than just be with her. And here's where the term gender envy made it more clear for me. Gender envy is an experience that can be deeply personal, complex, and often misunderstood. It involves desiring qualities or experiences associated with another gender, and for some men, this feeling may arise towards women. This can be one of the driving forces behind cross-dressing. Cross-dressing has historically been seen purely as a form of rebellion or fetish, or meaningful expression of self-exploration. For many men, gender envy manifests as an emotional and psychological attraction to the traits traditionally associated with women, such as femininity, grace, beauty, or even freedom of expression that women often have regarding their appearance. I shared some of this in my Deeper Well episode, that when I'm dressed, I feel far more comfortable expressing my emotions as a human being, which may not be considered strictly male attributes. I don't see them as male attributes, by the way. I see them as human attributes. But our society has norms, and let's face it, men are just not allowed to display certain emotions comfortably. For many men who cross-dress, power and leverage in the realm of sex and the chase can also be a motivating factor, and a much more powerful one. The dynamics of gender roles and sexuality often create intricate social scripts that influence how men and women engage with each other, especially in the context of relationships, attraction, and desire. One interesting and often unexplored phenomenon is the way in which some men experience gender envy towards women due to their perceived leverage and power in matters of sex and the chase. This form of envy can sometimes manifest in behaviors like cross-dressing as a way of acting out or exploring those dynamics. In traditional heterosexual contexts, women are often seen as the gatekeepers of sex, possessing the power to choose or reject potential partners. This dynamic creates what is commonly referred to as the chase, where men take on the role of pursuer and women hold the deciding power over whether a romantic sexual encounter will occur. This imbalance can lead to a sense of frustration or longing for some men who may feel constrained by the pursuit, wishing they had the kind of sexual autonomy and control they perceive women to have. So gender envy in this context is not necessarily about wanting to be a woman, but about desiring the agency, the allure, and the power that society often attributes to femininity in sexual contexts. This explains why one doesn't want to transition to a woman or even take hormones, but wants to dress up like a woman and play that role in society. And I definitely identify with that. Think of it this way. Cross-dressing becomes a way to temporarily experience the other side of this dynamic. By dressing as a woman, they symbolically adopt the role of the pursued, the one who holds the keys to desire, and in doing so, they can escape, if only briefly, the pressures of traditional masculinity. It may also offer a form of psychological role reversal. Men who feel burdened by societal expectations of assertiveness and dominance in sexual matters might find relief in embodying what they perceive as the opposite, a more passive, desirable, and powerful feminine presence. This role-playing can provide a release from the frustrations of the chase and a chance to explore feelings of being wanted rather than constantly having to pursue. In a society that frequently defines masculinity through competition, power, and aggression, cross-dressing can offer an escape into a different form of power, the power of allure, attraction, and choice. By stepping into a woman's shoes, literally and figuratively, men can symbolically experience the autonomy they envy, giving them a new perspective on the dynamics of sex and desire. So while cross-dressing may seem purely about aesthetics or expression, for many men it represents a more profound exploration of gender dynamics and power. In this light, gender envy isn't simply about appearance. It's about stepping into a role where control over sex and desire is reimagined and societal pressures can be temporarily cast aside. I hope this helps shed some light for others as to why you cross-dress, at least those who are curious. I know there's probably some of you out there that don't even think twice about it. You just do it, and that's totally fine and probably less exhausting in terms of trying to figure it out, because I don't think any of us can really totally figure it all out. I would add, though, that while I'm curious, it doesn't haunt me or frustrate me. It's just my nature to want to understand exactly why I do something that has become very important and a meaningful part of my life. And it's kind of fun to try and solve the mystery. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. And remember, be bold, be kind, be you. And also, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel below. That tells me I'm doing something that is connecting with people and I can continue doing it. Thank you.